extraterrestrial or alien life. And my claim is going to be that extraterrestrial life does exist elsewhere, based on the variety of ecosystems that could be found on Earth. My second claim is going to be that even in seemingly extreme environments, organisms have been found. And my third claim is going to be that the vast size of space, because of the vast size of space and the number of stars that exist, it's highly possible that there could be another planet that sustains life. And so my first support about the variety of ecosystems, and I'm sure many of us know about a lot of the common ecosystems like the oceans and forests, and how in those places there are many different forms of life, such as from complex to single cell organisms. And this means that another planet doesn't necessarily have to have the exact same conditions or the same ecosystems. It could have just one type of ecosystem, and it would be enough to sustain life. And this also leads to extreme locations such as deep sea caves or lakes that have been completely covered in ice. And these places, even though they have little to no sunlight and are low on oxygen, they have been discovered to contain microbial life, which leads to my second point, that some of these organisms are able to survive without sunlight and even on sources other than oxygen. And a study posted on IO9, which is an online scientific and technological blog, reveals that in 2012, microbiologist James Holden did a study on deep sea events found in the oceans, revealed that there were organisms that relied on different metabolic processes than were previously known, and that they, rather than oxygen, they survived on methane. And these organisms are able to survive up to temperatures of 662 degrees Fahrenheit and survive off the bacteria that are found near the vents. And since these organisms are survive on methane, it is possible that planets that contain methane may actually contain life. And in 2015, on the space.com website, a study done by geochemist Nigel Blamey of Brock University of Ontario, Canada, revealed that samples taken from 6 different meteorites from Mars revealed that when the samples were crushed, they released methane, indicating that Mars does in fact contain methane, and that under the surface, which is where most of the methane pockets are trapped, there could be the existence of microbial life that survive on methane, like those found in the deep sea vents. And since methane has been found on Mars, this leads to my third point, which is that there is a vast number of stars, and that the potential for one of them to have a nearby planet that contains life is incredibly high. And an estimation by David Conrad, who is an assistant professor and the founder of Astronomer and Astronomer Service at Cornell University, places the number of stars, he places a rough estimation of stars at 100 octillion, and he says that this is possibly a gross underestimation, because it's not, scientists don't know exactly how big the universe actually is and whether or not it's continuously expanding. But this means that there is a high chance of another planet being able to sustain life due to the variety of conditions that could be found. And it also increases the chance of another planet existing in a Goldilocks zone. And a Goldilocks zone is a distance from where liquid water can exist. And this is also the distance where the Earth is found, which is why there is liquid water on the surface. And scientists feel that even if another planet could be found in the Goldilocks zone, that it would be highly likely that organisms can be found, and even without a Goldilocks zone, due to recent discovery of methane and other organisms that survive on resources other than oxygen, it's highly likely that extraterrestrial life does exist.
Well, the proposition's identified, and I thought there was a good preview of what the supporting structure is. I'm not sure how much controversy there is. I think that a lot of people are hopeful, and it's interesting speculation. I'm not sure anybody says that it's not possible, holding out the possibility, the likelihood. The argument here might be whether or not it's relevant or useful to us to speculate about those kinds of things. I can see a couple of lines of argument developing here where even if this is true, the information doesn't do us much good one way or the other, and we have no way of confirming that information. So it's potentially just a piece of background noise as opposed to something that is useful or productive. I thought it was well organized, and you kind of explained the assumptions of your premises. The first and the third premises were nicely cited in the body of the speech. The second one I think was there, but it wasn't as distinct as it was in the preview, so you want to be a little careful about that. You've got examples that you're citing at the beginning, but you don't give us any sources for those sorts of things. It just seems like we're supposed to take those as a given. I thought you did a little bit better later on in the speech, showing, in fact, that there is life in the diversity of situations. The analogy to other planets, that they could have a single kind of environment, that seems like it's mostly an assertion on your part. If there's a reason that you don't need diversity in a planet in order to sustain ecosystems, that I think would have to be explained, because it sounds to me like every time I turn around, somebody here is telling us how if one ecosystem goes to hell in a handbasket, everything else is going to suffer in some way or some consequences. So they're all kind of interdependent. In the second and the third points, I thought your evidence got better. You cited sources more consistently. You explained your examples a little bit more. I thought that was pretty effective. All right. Thank you.